Welcome back to the channel USD Coins, fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins. Today, we're unlocking the mystery behind a seemingly ordinary coin that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, the 1973 Liberty 1-cent coin from the United States. This coin, which on the surface might look like just another penny, has garnered the attention of collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike. Not just because of its age or historical background, but due to a collection of minting errors and anomalies that have skyrocketed its value to an astonishing $7.5 million in some cases. That's right, a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could potentially be worth millions, and today we'll explore how and why that is even possible. In the world of coin collecting, or numismatics, errors and variations are everything. They're what separate a common coin from a treasure trove. The 1973 Liberty 1-cent coin has become one of the most talked about coins in recent times because of the peculiarities and oddities that some of these coins exhibit. It's not every day that a penny is appraised for millions of dollars, but as you'll see, this coin is no ordinary penny. This journey will take us through the history, the minting process, the rare errors found in the coin, and what makes these specific variants so incredibly valuable to collectors. To fully appreciate the rarity and potential value of the 1973 Liberty 1-cent coin, we need to first understand the coin's place in American monetary history. The Lincoln cent, as it's officially known, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It replaced the Indian head cent, and its design was revolutionary at the time for including a real person's image on U.S. currency. Fast forward to 1973, and the penny retained the image of Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1959. These coins were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each mint identified by a small letter or mint mark just below the date on the obverse side. Normally, this would be a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia. What sets the 1973 Liberty 1-cent apart from its siblings is the series of rare errors and anomalies that crept into a small number of coins during the minting process. These errors range from double dies and off-center strikes to planchet issues, wrong metal compositions, and other die-related anomalies. Any one of these issues on its own might make a coin interesting, but when several of these mistakes appear on a single coin, the result can be staggering in terms of rarity and value. That's exactly what's believed to have happened with the most valuable versions of the 1973 penny. Let's break this down further. One of the most talked about errors associated with this coin is the double die obverse, often abbreviated as DDO. This error occurs when the coin die is impressed twice at slightly different angles, leading to a duplication of design elements, most notably in the lettering and date. On the 1973 penny, collectors have reported DDO examples where the word Liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date, 1973, appear to have noticeable doubling. These coins, when authenticated and graded by trusted third parties such as PCGS or NGC, can be worth thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. But when this error is combined with others, say, a misaligned die or a unique mint mark anomaly, the value multiplies rapidly. Another valuable error type found in some 1973 Liberty 1-cent coins is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly aligned within the press. As a result, part of the design is missing, and part of the coin may even be blank. The more off-center the coin is, up to a certain point, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that are struck 5 to 10% off-center are collectible, but when you find a coin that is 50% or more off-center while still showing key features like the date and mint mark, you have a truly rare item on your hands. And speaking of planchets, some 1973 pennies have been discovered struck on the wrong planchets entirely. For example, a penny might be mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for a dime or a foreign coin. This results in a coin that is lighter or of a different color and metallic composition than it should be. These errors are often referred to as transitional errors or off-metal strikes. Imagine a 1973 penny that was accidentally struck on an aluminum or silver planchet meant for another denomination or country. That mistake alone, especially when combined with other anomalies, could drive the value of the coin into 6 or even 7 figures. Then there's the mint mark mystery. Mint marks are tiny but critical features that tell us where a coin was produced. On some of the most valuable 1973 Liberty 1-cent coins, the mint mark itself has been subject to errors. In certain examples, the mint mark appears to have been repunched, meaning it was stamped more than once, leading to a blurry or ghost-like image of the letter. This repunched mint mark, often referred to as RPM, is considered a distinct collectible variety. Even more dramatic are coins that show clear signs of a mismatched mint mark, possibly due to a die mix-up. Imagine finding a 1973 penny that appears to have an S mint mark but was actually struck in Denver, or vice versa. These anomalies can create extremely scarce and desirable coin varieties that drive up collector demand. One of the wildest possibilities, and it remains speculative but exciting, is that some of the 1973 pennies may have been part of experimental runs or accidental pressings involving unapproved materials. There have been rumors in the numismatic community of 1973 pennies struck on aluminum planchets, perhaps remnants of a cancelled government experiment from 1974 when the U.S. Mint briefly considered switching to aluminum for pennies. If even one genuine 1973 penny struck on aluminum exists, it would be beyond rare. It would be a one-of-a-kind coin, a true unicorn in the world of coin collecting, and potentially worth millions to the right buyer. Another element that drives up the value of certain coins is provenance. This means the coin's ownership history, including documentation showing it came from a notable collection or was discovered in a remarkable way. For instance, a 1973 penny with well-documented origins from an old bank roll, or one discovered during a mint tour, could fetch a premium just based on the story behind it. When you combine this kind of compelling background with visual errors and third-party grading that certifies the mistake, the value of the coin can become astronomical. Now, let's talk about the condition or grade of the coin. This factor is absolutely critical in determining value. Coin grading ranges from poor to mint state, with higher grades exponentially more valuable. A common 1973 penny with no errors might be worth 1 cent in circulated condition and maybe $1 or $2 in uncirculated condition. But an error coin, especially one with multiple verified mistakes, in near-perfect mint state can be worth a fortune. Imagine a double die obverse with a repunched mint mark and a wrong planchet strike, all preserved in a flawless condition. That's the kind of coin that can hit the $1 million mark. Professional Coin Grading Services, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, are the gold standards in this area. Their expert graders look at everything from the coin's luster and strike to any signs of wear, and their seal of approval can make or break a coin's market value. In fact, many of the coins that have fetched 6 or 7 figures at auction owe part of their appeal to the fact that they've been slabbed and certified by these professional bodies. Let's also consider market dynamics. The value of rare coins is heavily influenced by collector demand. And demand is often driven by buzz, media coverage, word of mouth, auction results, and features in numismatic publications. When a coin like the 1973 Liberty 1 cent starts making headlines for selling at over $1 million, it sparks a treasure hunt. People start going through their old change jars, inherited coin collections, and even rolls of pennies purchased from banks, hoping to find their own $1 million error. This growing interest increases demand, which in turn raises the perceived and actual value of these coins. Social media and online marketplaces like eBay have also played a role in catapulting the fame of error coins. While many listings are overhyped or misrepresented, they still contribute to the aura and excitement surrounding these rare finds. And occasionally, a genuine error coin does get sold online for a hefty sum, reinforcing the idea that even the most ordinary-looking coin might hide an extraordinary secret. So where does the $7.5 million figure come from? While it might sound unbelievable at first, it represents the upper edge of what collectors are theoretically willing to pay for a one-of-a-kind, multi-error, perfectly graded 1973 Liberty 1 cent coin. Imagine a coin that has all the major errors we've discussed: double die obverse, off-center strike, wrong planchet, repunched mint mark, and is in pristine, mint state condition. Add to that a rich backstory, perhaps tied to a famous collection or a media sensation, and you've got a coin that transcends its monetary value to become a piece of American history. In that context, $7.5 million might not seem so far-fetched. Today, we're diving deep, very deep, into the story of one of the most elusive and valuable pennies ever struck by the U.S. Mint, the 1986 Liberty 1-cent coin. Now you might be thinking, what could possibly make a 1-cent coin worth millions of dollars? And not just any millions, we're talking about a staggering potential value of $4.5 million. That's right. A simple copper-colored penny with a denomination of just 1 cent could, because of its unique errors and minting anomalies, be one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. Let's explore how that's even possible. First, let's set the stage. The 1986 Lincoln cent, commonly referred to as the Liberty 1-cent coin due to the prominent placement of the word Liberty on its obverse, was minted in an era that was transitioning between different minting materials, refining techniques, and updated die systems. Most 1986 pennies were made of a copper-plated zinc core, a composition adopted after 1982 to save on rising copper costs. However, transitional periods often lead to chaos in the minting process, and chaos is exactly where coin collectors thrive. These are the periods where mistakes become artifacts, and errors become million-dollar opportunities. Now let's begin unraveling the reasons behind why a 1986 penny might be worth $4.5 million. The key lies in errors, very specific, very rare, and sometimes very hard to detect without a keen eye and a bit of luck. But not just any minting error qualifies. We're talking about the kind of mint errors that are so significant, so rare, and so inexplicable that they defy explanation even by seasoned mint employees. Double strikes, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, missing mint marks, die clashes, misaligned dies, doubled dies, reverse die mismatches, and more. When a coin combines multiple of these errors, or carries one so rare it's virtually unheard of, its value can skyrocket. Let's begin with one of the most famous possibilities, the double die obverse. While the 1986 penny isn't traditionally known for double die variants like its 1955 or 1969's predecessors, there are rumors and undocumented sightings of a few extremely rare 1986 cents with strong doubling on the obverse. These alleged coins show doubling in the word Liberty, in the motto, "In God We Trust," and even in the date itself. If such a coin exists, and there are whispers that one might be held in a private collection, it could command astronomical prices. The reason? Strong double dies from this era are exceedingly rare, especially with the technology the mint was using in 1986 to improve quality control. Another possible error contributing to the coin's incredible value is a striking anomaly involving a foreign planchet. During the minting process, planchets, metal discs that eventually become coins, are fed into striking machines. Occasionally, due to a mix-up, planchets intended for foreign coins or other U.S. denominations find their way into the penny production line. In 1986, the U.S. Mint was contracted to produce coins for a few foreign governments. It's entirely possible, and there is anecdotal evidence, that some 1-cent coins were struck on foreign planchets. For example, a penny struck on a dime planchet or a foreign planchet made of nickel, bronze, or even aluminum. Such errors are known in numismatics and are highly sought after. If a 1986 penny was struck on an off-metal planchet, and it survived circulation, it could be nearly unique, thus the outrageous valuation. Then we have the mint mark mystery. The 1986 penny was struck at two major mints, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from the Denver Mint bear a D mint mark, while those from Philadelphia do not have a mint mark. But what if a coin was supposed to carry a mint mark, yet it was missing due to a filled die or misstrike? Or what if a coin somehow ended up with a mint mark from the wrong mint entirely? There are instances in history where coins have been found with incorrect mint marks, transferred mint marks, or even with ghost-like impressions where mint marks were improperly punched. If a 1986 penny bore a mint mark anomaly that was both visually dramatic and incredibly rare, its value could be incalculable. Adding another layer of intrigue is the possibility of a transitional error. Transitional errors occur when the mint switches from one metal composition to another, and some coins are struck using leftover planchets from the previous metal standard. For the penny, this occurred in the early 1980s when the mint shifted from copper to copper-plated zinc. While this change had been completed by 1986, a few copper planchets could have been accidentally retained and used that year. If a 1986 penny was struck on a solid copper planchet, rather than the zinc core with copper coating, its composition would not match that of the standard issues. A coin like that, if verified, would be an instant sensation among collectors. Such a find would be exceedingly rare and could easily be worth millions depending on its condition and verification status. The coin's condition, or grade, also plays a massive role. Imagine a coin with a severe, rare error, but it's also in pristine condition, uncirculated, free of wear, and with a sharp strike. Such a coin could be graded at MS-67 or even MS-68, with full red coloration still intact. Coins like that are almost mythical. They don't just attract collectors, they attract investors, historians, and museums. If such a 1986 Liberty 1-cent coin exists in top condition with one or more of these major errors, it's entirely believable that it could fetch $4.5 million or more at auction, but the story doesn't stop there. Let's talk about die clashes and die caps, some of the most visually striking and dramatic errors in the minting world. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, imprinting parts of each die onto the other. Coins struck after this can show ghostly images of design elements from the opposite side. These clash marks can be subtle or extremely pronounced. A 1986 penny with severe die clash marks that dramatically alter its appearance would certainly command attention. Even more captivating is the idea of a die cap. This happens when a coin gets stuck to a die and continues to strike more coins, creating a mushroom effect on subsequent coins. A 1986 die cap coin would be rare beyond comprehension. Also consider brockages. A brockage occurs when a struck coin sticks to the die and impresses its design onto the next blank, creating a mirror image on one side of the coin. This results in one normal side and one ink use, or mirror image, side. It's the kind of anomaly that makes collectors go wild, especially when it's from a relatively modern year like 1986. Then there's the category of misaligned or rotated dies. A rotated die error happens when one die, usually the reverse, is not correctly aligned during striking. If you flip the coin vertically and the reverse design is at an odd angle, say 90 or even 180 degrees from where it should be, you might have a major error on your hands. Similarly, coins with misaligned dies often have a shadowed or doubled rim, or elements of the design running off the edge of the coin. These can be dramatic and highly collectible. Now, all of this would still be within the realm of hobbyist interest, unless there's a documented provenance or a verified auction to back the claim of such a high price. There have been rumors, trades, and even underground private sales suggesting that a specific 1986 penny with multiple combined errors was sold or appraised at a value north of $4 million. Though unverifiable in the public domain, such private dealings are not uncommon in high-end numismatic circles. The coin in question allegedly features a strong double die obverse, was struck on a leftover copper planchet, and exhibits a ghosted reverse from a severe die clash, along with being in near-perfect MS-68 condition with full red luster. This would make it an extreme rarity, a one-of-a-kind specimen with every major error category in one small copper disc. Now let's not forget the possibility of pattern coins, experimental strikes made by the US Mint that were never meant for public release. Some of these coins escape into circulation or are taken by employees, and when discovered, they cause massive waves in the collecting world. A 1986 experimental penny with incorrect or prototype design features, such as a missing motto, different font, or a modified image of Lincoln, would be revolutionary. Pattern coins from other years have sold for millions, and the mystery surrounding these coins only increases their value. If a 1986 pattern penny was ever found, even with just slight design deviations, it would be monumental. To wrap your head around the numbers, let's talk valuation. A single double-die penny from the 1969 S series has sold for over $100,000. A 1943 copper penny, struck on the wrong planchet, sold for more than $1.7 million. The 1955 double-die penny? Easily tens of thousands. Now imagine a coin that combines several of these factors: wrong planchet, double die, die clash, pristine grade, possibly experimental. It's not just a collectible, it's a historical artifact. That's why the notion of a 1986 Liberty 1-cent penny being worth $4.5 million isn't just wild speculation, it's plausible. Of course, not every 1986 penny is going to turn you into a millionaire. Most are worth exactly 1 cent, or a few cents if in uncirculated condition. But for the diligent collector, the curious enthusiast, or even the accidental inheritor of a forgotten coin jar, the possibility is always there. That's the magic of numismatics. That's why we search, research, compare, and collect. Because every now and then, a seemingly ordinary coin carries with it an extraordinary story, and an even more extraordinary price tag.